To all of you once again in my YouTube channel. In this video, I am going to teach you the first chapter of class 9th, The Fun They Had. This chapter is written by Isaac Asimov. Isaac Asimov was an American writer and professor of biochemistry at Boston University. During his lifetime, Asimov was considered one of the big three science fiction writers. A prolific writer, he wrote or edited more than 500 books. The Fun They Had is a science fiction. It first appeared in a children's newspaper in 1951 and was reprinted on 1954. The story is set in future. Right now, we are living in 2022, so almost 135 years from now. The author Isaac Asimov wants to say about the changes which will appear in future regarding education. Nowadays, education takes place inside the classrooms. The students and teachers come to a specific building and get education. But according to the author, in distant future, the education would be based on online mode. There would be no school rooms and no school buildings. So as you see in the picture, if I will zoom it out, you can see that the author had given a brief introduction about the changes in future towards education system. In the first picture, a child was sitting in front of a computer. In the second, a girl was sitting in her room surrounded by gadgets. And the third one, a robot was standing in the position to give lecture. And third one, a computer screen was projected. It indicated the e-books. So the author imagined that in future the education mode would be changed and it would be based on online. During corona lockdown, the author's dream became true. The author's imagination came to be true. After corona period, our education had already shifted to online mode. It means we learned everything sitting alone in our rooms. So that is the story. In this story, the author tried to find out the difference between the present education system and in the future education system. It means which will be based on online mode. Here, with the help of the title, the author tried to make the readers understand that the present education system is much more interesting than the future education system, which will be based on online mode. And at that moment, you will also differentiate easily because during lockdown period we have attended online classes and we found that it was too much boring because there was no interaction. You got to hear, there was no real time engagement. So the author wrote this story. In this story, there were mainly two characters: Margie, who was an 11 years old girl, and Tommy, who was a 13 years old boy. Here, Margie had the habit to write diary. Mm, Margie mentioned in her diary that on 2157, Tommy found a real book. Here, real book means a book which was printed on paper. Actually, the story is set in future, 2157, and means from our time it is 135 years after. In that time, there would be no real books. It means the books would not be printed on paper. The whole education system would be changed and the students would learn everything with the help of the e-books, computerized books. So on 17 May 2157, Tommy found a real book which was mentioned by Margie in her diary. Margie had never seen a real book before. She heard from her grandfather that in the past all the stories were printed on paper. Then both of them means Tommy and Margie tried to examine the book which was found by Tommy. Actually, Tommy found the book in the attic. In the attic. So they turned the pages and they found that the color of the pages became yellow and crinkly. It means the pages, there were so many folds in the pages as the book had been used for long period of time. And then they made the comparison with that book to the ebook. They found that the book was very funny. Why was it funny? It was funny because the words in the textbook were fixed. It means the position of the words could not be changed. It was funny to them because they were habituated with the ebooks that could be easily changed. It means in a ebook you could scroll up and down the words. It means the position of the words were never stable. It could be changed. Also, they also found that every time they turned back the pages, the words were same. But in ebook, it would never happen. The screen is same, but the words could be changed. It means the position of the words never same. The lines could go up and down. So, according to Margie and Tommy, the ebook was much more useful to them. They also found that a real book was a wastage of paper, as it would be thrown once it would be completed by the reader. But in the ebook, there was no wastage of paper. In a computer, thousands of books could have been stored. Margie also confirmed Tommy that same thing happened to her. Margie was less experienced. It means in the matter of reading telebook, Tommy's experience was much wider and bigger. Tommy had studied more telebooks than Margie. Margie was actually 11 years old and Tommy was 13. So due to the seniority, Tommy had read many telebooks. Then Margie asked Tommy what the theme of the book was. Tommy replied that the book was about school. Once Margie heard the word school, she became upset and worried because she disliked school. According to Margie, school meant her room surrounded with gadgets. It means Margie's school was situated next to her bedroom and she had to appear every day on time. So once Margie heard the word school, Margie thought that there was nothing to write about school. Margie hated the school, but recently her hate towards the school increased as test after test had been taken in geography sector, but she had never given any answer. Finally, Margie's mother called the county inspector for the inspection of the computer. The county inspector was a round, middle-shaped man. He opened the computer and Margie hoped that the computer could never have been joined. The county inspector gave an apple to Margie and also patted her. The county inspector repaired the computer within 1 hour and Margie was extremely sad. She thought that the computer would not be repaired by him and the teacher would have been taken away from her for at least few days. Actually, she expected like that, as Tommy's computer also failed to work and Tommy's teacher had been taken away for at least 1 month. But in the case of Margie, she was little bit disappointed as the computer got repaired within 1 hour. The county inspector reported Margie's mother that actually it was not the fault of Margie. The computer started providing him questions that was not up to his her level, that the question was from the senior level. And the county inspector also told Margie's mother that he set up the level, and then after Margie would get the questions according to her standard. Margie's mother thought that the education should be done on regular basis. Margie was very much sad as her computer was ready, and she had to study once again. She hated the ugly screen because it was always on time, and she hated the slot, the given space for the homework, and the computer checked each and everything within no time. So Margie hated each and everything. It was very boring. And Margie asked Tommy about the old school. Tommy told Margie that in the past, the school was completely different. School was in the past, school meant a particular building in which the children and the teachers came, and education had been given to the children according to the age. So the teacher in the classroom was not a robot. It was the teacher was a human being, and the teacher taught the same topic to the students in a particular class. The children had a lot of fun because the children sat together, they shared their problems together, they played together, they took lunch together, and once the school got over, they came back home together. So Margie was a little bit upset. Margie thought that her education system was too boring. She had no playmates. She spent all her time alone, and it was not entertaining. She could not share her problems to her friend. She had no friends. So Margie thought that the past education was far greater than the present education system, because in the past the student got opportunities to learn everything together. They shared their problems together. They sat together and came back home together. So the story came to an end. The author's main suggestion was that our education system is far better than the education system which will come to future. Maybe the online education is very much flexible. You can learn anything from anywhere, but the concentration level is getting down day by day due to online, because when a lesson is taught to anyone, a student is unable to focus for 40 minutes, and that is the problem of these. So the chapter comes to an end. Thank you.